What's up? I'm DJ Williams, and y'all watching Sports Desk.
Hello and welcome to Sports Desk. I'm Andrew Klein.
And I'm Ethan Gainey. March Madness has come to an end, and even though the Canes fell in the Final Four, they made school history.
Yeah, Ethan, it was a devastating loss for Miami against UConn. They just struggled heavily throughout the game and really just failed to keep up with the Huskies' huge team. Well, Miami's historic basketball season officially wrapped up last weekend in Houston as the Canes took on UConn in the first Final Four game in program history. Let's send it out to NRG Stadium to take a look at how the Canes fared. First half of things here is where we'll get started, and this guy was the best player on the floor, Adama Sanogo from downtown. He had 21 against Miami, 2 of 3 from downtown. And here's Isaiah Wong saying, anything you can do, I can do better. Wong, step back bucket. He had 15 for Miami. Those were one of his 2 3-pointers on the evening, and the Hurricanes not trying to let UConn pull away. Jordan Miller, dime, Harlan Beverly throwing it down for Miami. They cut it to 3. The crowd loving it in Houston, but UConn just so relentless. Alex Caravan, buzzer-beating 3. The Huskies go up by 13 as we go into the break. Miami trying to do it in the second half. Can they come back? Adama Sanogo says, no, you can't. He lays that one in with the right hand. And now Sanogo, a backdoor pass, Tristan Newton, alley-oop to Andre Jackson Jr., and UConn goes on to win, and they win the whole thing. They beat San Diego State in the championship as well.
Well, clearly the game didn't go in the Hurricanes' favor, but it wasn't because of a lack of Miami fans in the stands at NRG Stadium. Sports Desk very own lead reporter Ryan Gleicher and the man sitting next to me right now, Andrew, were in Houston and captured footage of the crowd, and as you can see, there was a ton of orange and green in the stands, fans holding up their fingers. They got some whooshes going for free throws. There's baby food signs. All the signs that typically Cat 5 would have prepared for the fans at Watsco were in NRG Stadium, and the fans showed out tons of green and orange, as you can see. So, beautiful sight for Canes fans.
Well, besides being in Houston, where's the best place on campus to watch the biggest basketball game in school history? The home of Canes Hoops, of course, and fans got to cheer for the team in the Watsco Center one last time. The Jumbotron was lowered to the floor for the first watch party ever held in the Watsco Center, and the fans showed up in full force. The doors opened at 7:30, and it got packed. 3,500 tickets were released for the event, and as you can see, the students showed out for their squad.
Knowing the amount of things that were going on around Coral Gables, seeing the amount of people that ended up at Watsco cheering on the Canes, you know, we filled a pretty big section of the stadium up, and it was really fun. I feel like the energy was as if they were playing in the stadium, so it was exciting.
Despite the loss to UConn, Canes Hoops still had a historic season, making the Final Four for the first time in program history. They were 16-1 at home in the Watsco Center and were ranked as high as 12th in the AP poll. The Canes finished the year tied for first in the ACC with 15 in-conference wins. Miami went 29-8 overall, their most wins in 10 seasons.
With the men's season coming to a close last week and the women falling in the Elite Eight the week before, our Hurricane Hangtime crew is here to break down what went wrong for both squads. Guys?
Thanks, Ethan, and welcome everybody to Hurricane Hangtime. I'm your host, Wrigley Court, joined by Gavin Bisho and Manny Nacarado. Let's talk hoops. Manny, great to have you here. Let's start off on the men's side of things, where they fell in the Final Four to the UConn Huskies. What went wrong in that game?
Well, UConn really just ran away with this one early. They went on a 9-0 run early in the first over the Canes. UConn shot 49% from the field, and Adama Sanogo, what a beast in the middle with 21 points and 10 rebounds. Jordan Hawkins went 13-3. But some positives for the Canes, Bensley Joseph and Harlan Beverly, 6 for 11 with 3 3-pointers, but Miami was just outmatched in size in this one.
The season may have ended in heartbreak, but it was a great year for the Canes. Manny, what was one of the best things you saw out of the team this season?
One of the best things I saw this season was that win over Texas in the Elite Eight. I mean, talk about fight. What a comeback. Miami went on a 37-17 run over Texas coming out of the half, and Jordan Miller, Mr. Perfect, with 27 points. He did not miss a shot. What an amazing win for the Canes, and making school history, punching their ticket to the Final Four for the first time in school history.
Moving from one team that made program history to another, Gavin, I'll ask you the same thing. What was one of the best things you saw out of the Lady Canes this season?
Well, it had to be their second round upset over #1 Indiana, not only defeating a 1 seed, but on the road in Bloomington. That's very tough to do for any 8 or 9 team that has to face a 1 seed. Not to mention that 2 games prior, Miami played another 1 seed, or future 1 seed rather, in Virginia Tech, and they were embarrassed. Bad offense, terrible defense. To come back 2 games later and do what they did against Indiana was tremendous and a great win for the team and Katie Meyer's legacy.
Like you said, it was a legacy-defining year for the Canes, but what can they do to improve next season?
Well, they improved really well on the offensive end. They scored 70 points a game this year, or just about, which is good for 88th nationally, something that Miami's not really known for. But on the offensive end to focus on is stretching the floor out and either finding scores through the portal or recruits and maybe shoot some more threes, at least spread the floor out. Miami focuses on scoring off turnovers and just hammering the ball in the paint. But in games against Duke earlier in the year and against Virginia Tech in that ACC quarterfinal matchup, when Miami couldn't score down low, it was an embarrassing effort on offense. And they can find someone like a Haley Cavender to come facilitate outside and work around the perimeter. That'll help them out a lot next year.
It's been an exciting season of basketball, but that is all the time we have for today, so let's send it back to Andrew.
Coming up, reporter Zach Macer takes us back to a time where appreciation for Canes basketball was almost non-existent. Hard to believe. Stay with us.
Kevin, you thinking about retirement?
Of course I've thought about it, but there's all this stuff in the way.
Oh, you're not kidding.
The house, the kids are going to college.
My new car.
Car? You bought a new car?
Oh, hey, you should meet my friend Avo. Avo's a retirement coach. He'll help get you started.
But what does Avo tell you to do?
You don't know? Focus on your future. Your goals can still be met.
But how?
Target your tomorrow. And use the Avo bet.
You sing?
Not really. A is for taking action. Start off with a plan.
You built these letters?
Yep. V is for variety. There's so many ways you can.
I follow you.
Come on. O's for optimize your savings.
Let Avo lead the way.
Visit aceyourretirement.org today.
Nice sign.
Thanks, I made it myself.
Cool.
Canes basketball has built a name for itself in the past decade, but the team didn't always have the same respect they've earned today. Our reporter Zach Macer sat down with some UM basketball alumni. Zach?
This past season has been the best University of Miami men's basketball has ever had. Between sharing the ACC regular season title and making it to their first Final Four, it's hard to tell that Miami hasn't been around as long as other D1 basketball programs.
We're pretty new. 38 years is all we have in terms of basketball after the hiatus we had for 14, 15 years.
After Rick Barry's wild success as a Miami Hurricane, the program decided to shut down after the 1971 season. Flash forward 14 years, and players like Eric Brown were ready to rebuild UM to a quality basketball program.
I thought to myself, I'd like to start and maybe create a program to have that type of nostalgia, that tradition, and create it from the ground floor.
The task of rebuilding was extremely difficult, especially since there was no on-campus arena. Every home game, the team would take a 25-minute Metrorail journey from the university to here, the James L. Knight Center in downtown Miami.
It was really strange because you had 4,500 seats approximately on one side that kind of went up into this darkness, and then on the back of what was essentially the stage, you had 500 seats where the students were.
Flash forward to now. The Watsco Center sold out countless times this season, and Hurricanes fans are everywhere the team plays. The alumni are certainly amazed.
No, it's just tremendous how now looking back, how far it's progressed. I'm very proud of that, and just proud of this group of guys.
So 38 years to have a basketball program and to be at this position right now in the Final Four, it's quite amazing.
For UMTV, I'm Zach Macer.
While a historic basketball season has officially come to a close, the other Hurricane sports are rolling right along. Niles Nassim breaks it down from a social media perspective on this week's edition of Behind the Post.
Ah, yes, guess what day it is? Oh, wowzers, folks, we have arrived at the greatest day to be alive. It's a great day to be a Friday. So let's buckle up and get ready because we have arrived at the most electrifying segment on TV with me, Niles Nassim, your host with the most. So when you see me on screen, it's time to go behind the post. 2 words for you, thank you. Thank you to the Hurricanes basketball team for giving us a season we will never forget. We are so proud of you and proud to be Canes. And thank you to all the fans who showed up and out every night at Wasco and beyond to make this season incredible. But one last thank you has to go out to the one and only Jordan Miller. Thank you for an amazing career here at the U. Your impact was undeniable, your game was undefinable, and your passion was simply unconfinable. We wish you the best of luck as you take on the league. We love you, sir. Now, if you were wondering what volleyball was working on this offseason, I think I have your answer. Roll the clip.
Oh, we got big kid weight on today. Hey, we can add a little bit. We can add a little bit. Last one, chin over the bar. Let's go. Up, 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 up. Good job today.
Now that's what you call big boy weight. You see the gains. Now let's go insane because the Canes are coming for the biggest names and they ain't playing games. We see you ladies and we are so excited to see how you will dominate next season. Oh, and also clean up on all 5. I repeat, clean up on all 5. Get your grade A robust industrial grade brooms out because baseball had another, say it with me, sweep last weekend against FS. The Canes are lining up the mound because they also beat UCF earlier this week as well. And look, they look to keep rolling against UVA as they are playing right now. You should probably tune in after the show. But look, that's all the time I have for you this week. Remember, be blessed, don't stress because you know where to find me right here on Sports Desk. I'm Niles Nuts.
The Hurricanes baseball team is coming off a massive 3-game sweep against their biggest rivals, the Florida State Seminoles. And now they're in Virginia to take on the 7th-ranked Cavaliers. Our Inside Pitch crew is here to break it all down. Guys?
Hello and welcome to this week's edition of Inside Pitch. I'm your host, Olivia Howell, here with analyst Jake Baum. Jake, the Canes are coming off a huge sweep against rival FSU. And the pitchers in this game really shine. So tell me, what did you see from them?
They shined the whole series, but remember 2 years ago, FSU came into the light and swept the Hurricanes. This time, FS, who do you think you are? The Canes aren't going to allow that to happen again. Miami was able to sweep this past series against Florida State, and it was led by their dominant starting pitching. Of course, Gage Zeal is who we're going to talk about first. Gage went into the 8th inning, 1 earned run, 9 strikeouts, an amazing performance for him, proving why he has the ability to be the guy Gino DiMare goes with on any given Friday night like he will tomorrow. And of course, Alejandro Rosario, 8 innings pitched, 12 strikeouts, both career highs for him, and really could be a sign of what is to come for Alejandro Rosario.
Yeah, Jake, it'll be really interesting to see how those pitchers perform this weekend against number 7 Virginia, who they're currently facing off right now. But do you think they'll be able to carry this momentum from this past weekend going into this series?
Well, yeah, of course. It wasn't just this past weekend. They're 5-0 in their last 5 matchups and 9-1 in their last 10 against Virginia, of course, upsetting them and getting the sweep last year at the Light. Of course, this time, Virginia's offense is amazing. That's what they're known for so far this year. But you know who else has an amazing offense? The Miami Hurricanes. That's why they call them the Miami Masters. Guys like C.J. Kafis, Yo-Yo Morales, and don't forget about Zach Levinson. Of course, the walk-off home run just a little over a week ago against FIU. I think he'll be the one leading this offense this coming weekend.
All right, everybody, it's time for Jake's Takes. Take it away.
Well, the Canes come into this one 7th in the nation in home runs, and that is led by Carlos Perez. Carlos Perez already has 8 to start the year. I say he's going to get his 9th this weekend against the Cavaliers. And this whole series, especially last week, Canes pitching has been dominant, especially at limiting walks. Limiting walks is something they've done so well, and that's what allows their starting pitchers to go deep into outings. I say that they will be able to at least get into the 6th inning, both Zeal and Rosario, the Friday and Saturday night guys, respectively, this coming weekend. And last year, they were able to upset the number 3 Virginia Cavaliers. I say this year they do it again with the number 7 Cavaliers. They win at least 2 of their 3 matchups.
All right, Jake, thank you for being here. We'll see how accurate he is, but that's all the time we have. Back to you guys.
Well, up next, we'll tell you about one elementary school-aged golfer with quite possibly more trophies than the pros. But first, it's time for some trivia. Canes baseball travels to Charlottesville tonight to face the 7th-ranked Virginia Cavaliers in the first of a 3-game series inside the top 25. But how many wins does Miami have against the Cavaliers in total? Is it A, 31, is it B, 34, C, 37, or D, 40? The answer, Sports Desk returns.
Chance high five. All right.
When you adopt a shelter pet, you discover all the things that make them unique.
And your mother and...
I am totally a hat person. Right, guys? Thanks for being honest. They're a little bit of a lot of things, but they're all pure love. Adopt pure love at theshelterpetproject.org.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Hi, Julia.
Pretty good.
How's your first time floor manager?
Yeah.
It's amazing. The energy.
Oh, that is exactly what I
Yeah,
need to hear.
we love that.
The vibes.
Just writing up.
Great vibes.
Tips on caregiver preparedness during coronavirus. Form a team that can help with caregiving tasks. Take an inventory of essential supplies in your loved one's home. Make a list of the care recipient's medications. Schedule regular calls to fight isolation. Finally, take care of yourself too. Follow the Centers for Disease Control's guidelines for coronavirus safety. For more caregiving tips, go to aarp.org/caregiving.
Welcome back. You guys see, you got it. Miami has 37 victories over their ACC rivals dating back to the series debut in 1985. In fact, the Canes swept the Cavaliers last year right here in Coral Gables.
From smashing program records to serving up some victories, Michael Muella and Taryn Jacobs are here to give us the latest across campus on this week's edition of the O Sports Roundup. Take it away.
Hey guys, welcome to episode 8 of the O Sports Roundup. Can't believe it's the great 8 already. I'm Michael Muella.
And I'm Taryn Jacobs. Mike, I hear you have some records on the track this week.
Indeed, Taryn, and I'm going to need you to count because it is 3 of them, respectively, Decio Andrade, Eamon Zahafi, and Natalie Varela. Now, Decio, in the Gainesville relays earlier this past week, took home a 72.89-meter hammer throw, placing him #1 all-time. Eamon Zahafi first in the men's 1,500-meter run, and Natalie Varela first in the women's 1,500-meter run. And in the latest polls, Canes women's track came in at number 19 overall. Now, for Canes volleyball, they ended up taking on UCF in a 5-set loss last week at home. However, their overall record in the spring exhibition season is now 2-1. They'll have this week off before taking on FAU next week, trying to bring their overall record to 3-1 on the season. But Taryn, I heard that women's tennis actually brought out the brooms this week.
Well, Mike, women's tennis was coming off a tough weekend on the road with 2 top 10 losses to UNC and Duke, but they came back to Coral Gables and swept Louisville 7-0 yesterday. Alexa Noel received ACC Player of the Week for the 4th time this year. The Lady Canes will continue to carry their momentum as they will play Notre Dame tomorrow. And over on the men's side, they had a big weekend last weekend with wins over Clemson and Georgia Tech, but their 5-game winning streak came to an end earlier this week after losing to rival Florida State University. The men will look to bounce back on Saturday against the Boston College Eagles. And over on the green, the golf team placed 15th overall in the Brusy tournament, their last regular season tournament, and their next stop for them is the ACC Championship.
Well, Taryn, we're going to keep an eye on that. Hopefully we can take home some hardware, but that's going to do it for this week's episode of the O Sports Roundup. Sending it back to the desk.
As a kid, everyone dreams of taking their talents to the biggest stage. And for one local girl, her dreams are coming true in Augusta. Annie Watson has more.
Thanks, Andrew. It's not hard to imagine being in such close proximity to amazing athletes here in Miami. Whether it's because we're used to it, I don't know. But what I do know is that one of these star athletes is 9-year-old golfer Larissa Wheelis.
Drive, chip, putt. The 3 main skills in golf and the name of one of the biggest youth golf tournaments in the United States, held the weekend before the Masters tournament at Augusta. 9-year-old Miami native Larissa Wheelis was the only girl in her age group to represent her region at the finals this past Sunday.
I feel very proud and happy.
Born in Panama, Larissa lived in the Dominican Republic before moving to Miami. It was there where she was introduced to the game of golf.
I've been playing golf for 5 years.
Cuando vivíamos en República Dominicana y Larissa estaba en clases de danza.
But then my dad introduced me to golf, so I just fell in love with it.
In these past 5 years, Larissa has become quite the decorated golfer, winning 60 medals and 21 trophies. At the drive, chip, and putt, she tied for third with 18 points out of a possible 30. Even after making memories at Augusta, Larissa is keeping her eye on the prize.
My favorite part was putting on the 18th green.
Her parents have guided her in her short yet accomplished golf career. She recently joined the Jim McLean Golf School, which practices at the Biltmore here in Coral Gables. Even though a perfect work-life balance is impossible, the Wheelers family does the best they can to make it work for their daughter.
Fun is the most important part. Fun, but also clear goals, and then basically just reminding her, what it takes to get what she wants.
For such a young talent, Larissa continues to show amazing potential. The accomplishments, the low handicap, that signature long blonde braided pony, the incredible golf game, all of this in this young golf prodigy is only just now getting started.
What's next for Larissa? Well, she'll be competing at the U.S. Kids Golf World Championships in late July at the Pinehurst Golf Course in North Carolina. Reporting for UMTV, I'm Annie Watson. Back to you guys at the desk.
Well, with the volleyball team's spring exhibition season nearing the end, our Brandy Troop sat down with the Canes middle blocker, Shannon Knight, on this week's edition of Athlete of the Week.
Hello everyone and welcome to this week's edition of Athlete of the Week. I am your host Brandy Troop and today I'm joined by Canes volleyball player Shannon Knight. Hey Shannon.
Hello.
How are you, girlie?
Good, how are you?
Super excited to talk to you. I want to get right to it and play a quick game that I'm calling Block It Out. Gonna throw out some tough everyday life scenarios and I want you to let me know how you would block it out and how you would handle the situation. Sounds good?
Sounds good.
Gonna give you 45 seconds on the clock.
All
Let's
right.
do it. You didn't perform as well as you would have liked on an exam. How do you block it out?
Study harder and do better on the next one.
You've been consistently eating clean, but recently you started to have a strong urge to start back eating unhealthy. How do you block it out?
Find healthy alternatives to unhealthy foods.
Your ex constantly texts you about getting back together, girl. How do you block it out?
Block him.
Ooh. You start to feel pressure from social media about altering your interests, lifestyle, and appearance. How do you block it out?
Remind myself that I'm good enough and social media is mostly fake.
Love that. You're being optimistic about a potential opportunity, but your friend is unintentionally being negative. How do you block it out?
Jealousy stems from anywhere, whether it's intentional or not.
Love that. A hater leaves a negative comment on your IG photo. How do you block it out?
Delete it.
Wow, girlie. I should have known that you would just absolutely kill that game, being that you are the Canes blocker.
Yes.
How do you love being a part of such an amazing team?
I absolutely adore it. All the girls are so nice. I've just formed lifelong friendships. Our coaches are great, and yeah, I just love going to practice every morning and being with my best friends.
What is the best part about being around such amazing girls?
Automatic support system. I mean, like, these girls are there for you no matter what. You can shoot a text in the group chat even, like, about anything, and everybody's going to be there for you.
Love that. Are you enjoying the ride here with the Hurricanes?
I'm absolutely loving it.
And I love that you love it. That's Shannon Knight. I'm Brandy Troop. We'll see you right here back next week on Athlete of the Week.
Still ahead, we'll look back at one legendary broadcaster's final shining moment. Don't go anywhere.
Hey, Kevin, you thinking about retirement?
Of course I've thought about it, but there's all this stuff in the way.
Oh, you're not kidding.
The house, the kids are going to college.
My new car.
Car? You bought a new car?
Oh, hey, you should meet my friend Avo. Avo's a retirement coach. He'll help get you started.
But what does Avo tell you to do?
You don't know? Focus on your future. Your goals can still be met.
But how?
Target your tomorrow. And use the Avo bet.
You sing?
Not really. A is for taking action. Start off with a plan.
You built these letters?
Yep. V is for variety. There's so many ways you can.
I follow you.
Come on. O's for optimize your savings.
Let Avo lead the way.
Visit aceyourretirement.org today.
Nice sign.
Thanks, I made it myself.
Cool.
Yeah. One man in Miami Beach is helping to revive an old mall, and he isn't doing anything new either. Instead, he's the leader of a timeless sports business. Reporter Patrick McCall has the story.
163rd Street Mall is usually quiet and empty, but there is one pop-up at the mall that brings in a lot of people.
We started this show about 18 months ago, and it's been very successful. On our first show, we found a LeBron James rookie card, 10 PSA, graded as a 10 autograph, and the 10 card is worth a couple of $100,000.
Sinbad is the owner of Sinbad Sports in North Miami Beach. Once a month, he hosts the Miami Card and Memorabilia Show, a chance for other cardholders, sellers, kids, and fans to come out and get a glimpse at sports history. Most of the vendors have a burning passion for sports, yet that doesn't mean that every vendor is only interested in sports.
I like Pokemon and anime, love cars and die-casts. So these are just like all different stuff that I personally like have in my home and collect myself.
Michael DaCosta says that he still holds a regular day job. For other vendors, their card business comes first, a serious but lucrative investment.
5-cent cards where I get to my auction company, I start selling $3,000 items, $4,000 items, $10,000 items. Just on instance, I just sold a Michael Jordan rookie card for $15,000 at my auction.
Willie McCoy started collecting cards when he was just 7 years old. He says that his auctions typically net $60,000 to $80,000 a month. For some people, the sports card show gives them a chance to make money. For others, the impact means so much more.
The more of these I fill up, I feel close to my dad, even though he's gone. So whatever keeps this going is what I'm after.
Kyle Kelly first got involved in the business by collecting athletes' autographs. Alongside his father, a young Kelly managed to get every player on the Phillies spring training roster to sign his hat.
We've always done stuff like that together. It was the way that we bonded. So this is just a way to keep it alive.
Sinbad will host the event again next month on May 7th. He hopes to bring more sports lovers through the doors. Reporting for UMTV, I'm Patrick McCall.
Well, it wouldn't be March Madness without the madness, Andrew.
Absolutely, Ethan. And one shot for San Diego State sent FAU home, and it sent NRG Stadium into a frenzy.
Yeah, so here we have John L. Davis for FAU. The Owls taking it in, but missing the layup, so Lamont Butler is going to take it down the court. He's only got a few seconds to make something happen. Almost steps out there, pulls back, takes the jump shot, and hits it.
I mean, this was incredible. It was about 15 feet in front of my face in Houston. I didn't think he would get the shot off. Time was running down. Just absolute madness.
Yeah, that video is from your angle right there.
Absolutely, yeah.
That's great.
Well, one of the most important aspects of any sporting event, it isn't just the coaches or the athletes or the general managers, but it's the broadcasters who paint a picture of each game.
Yeah, and one of the legendary broadcasters, Jim Nantz, announced his retirement from college basketball after this year's national championship.
Well, he's been the voice of the Final Four, Ethan, since 1990. He worked with Bill Raftery and Grant Hill to end his career, an illustrious career that was. He announced in October that he would step away from college basketball, but don't fear, he's still going to do the Masters, and he told me personally, me and Tony have a lot more Super Bowls to do, so good news for football fans as well.
That is just wonderful news to hear, because I mean, he calls us his friend, but he's really a friend to all of us.
That is, and that's the way he said it. He said, thank you for being my friend, and Jim, to you, thank you for always being our friend as well.
Absolutely, and thank you for joining us on this week's edition of Sports Desk.
We'll see you again at the same time next week, but for now, have a great night.